Evening, guys. Welcome to 12 Hours Later. Um, this is a little side video to the overnight camp that Andrew and I did, and I had the idea to do this kind of video after watching the outdoor gear review and how he does his after the camp videos. I really like that, so I decided to do some of my own. So, anyway, here, kind of just going over the gear that we used, little side stories of the trip, what went good, what didn't work, where we were. So, with that, let's get started. Alright, so, it was totally last minute. I don't think it could have been any more last minute, really. My phone went off at 8 a.m. and I thought it was the alarm at first. So I grab it and I'm looking at it and I'm like, alright, snooze. But then I'm like, wait a minute, it's Sunday. Why would my alarm be going off on Sunday? So then I actually start to be able to read and I see Andrew Voss. Oh boy. Well, hello? And all of a sudden he says, yeah, we're going camping tomorrow, and you don't have a choice. So even if you did have a choice, would that work for you? And I'm like, sure. So I go upstairs, Mom, Dad, Andrew wants to go on a trip tomorrow, go up north, do a 2-night camping trip. Alright, fine. 15 minutes later, my phone rings again. Andrew Voss. Hello? Oh, you want to leave at noon today? So he calls me back and says, change of plans. We're leaving in 4 hours, so get your stuff ready. I'm like, okay. Hang up, Mom, Dad, Andrew wants to leave at noon today. Okay. Better get packing. So come downstairs, call him again. He wants to go get Dave. So I say, okay. So put some clothes on, meet up with him in my driveway, go across the street to get Dave. Dave's busy. He's got stuff to do. Alright, come back. Call Caleb Casper. He's got a track meet and track practice. Alright, well that's not gonna work. Call Taylor. Taylor doesn't pick up. Common sense tells us Caleb has a track meet, Dave has a track meet, obviously Taylor has a track meet, so he's not going to be coming either. Alright, so it's just the two of us. So we're down here in my room, and we start packing. And I kind of just grabbed some stuff, threw it in a bag, threw the bag over my shoulder, grabbed the tent, grabbed a tarp, threw that stuff in Andrew's car, come back, say goodbye. Mom has this food for us, and some jugs of water. Toss that in the car, go to Andrew's, get some stuff. We're on our way out. So really, between the time he called me saying that we were going to leave to the time we actually left was about 2.5 hours. Alright? And if anyone knows what the weather was forecasted to be last night when we went out, is pretty crazy. Obviously, you saw in the video, we woke up, we had somewhere between 4 to 6 inches of snow on the ground, and tent had snow on top of it. There was ice on the rainfly, ice on the tarp, condensation from my body was on my sleeping bag, so my sleeping bag's wet, which is the main reason why we left. So yeah, all in all, awesome time, super fun. Wish we could have shared it with a few other guys, but you know what? We took Andrew's car and we didn't really have room for 2 other guys. We kind of just tossed everything in. Because the weather was such a big thing in temperature. I figured we might as well go over the clothing first. So, what we had, and I kind of just tossed all this stuff over, so forgive me. My base layer, when, you know, some of the videos got that red shirt on, well, that was a union suit, alright? A onesie, if that's what you guys want to call them. Yeah, everything's rubbed off, so can't read it. I see 60% cotton, 40% something else, probably polyester. This did an incredible job at keeping me warm throughout the night. All I just wore this, a pair of wool socks and a sweatshirt, plus a wool hat. That's all I wore to bed. If I had my Gore-Tex bivy on my sleeping bag, which I should have, I would have been perfectly fine. It would have been incredible. If I had a sleeping pad, that would have done it. Like that would have been the best. It was already probably one of the best nights of sleep I ever got outside. That would have topped it off. Like, I don't know if it could have gotten any better than that. If I had the bivy and the sleeping pad. This did an awesome job of keeping my legs warm, keeping my core body warm. You know, doesn't look ridiculous when you're wearing, or at least, you know, with pants and everything on. I mean, it just looks like you got a red Henley tucked in for the most part. So, I don't know. Kind of feel like a lumberjack when you wear it. Yeah, this did a fantastic job at keeping me warm. Excellent piece of. Alright, next up, we had the union suit. We have right here just Columbia fleece, alright, obviously black. Columbia. Alright, super warm. It was awesome. I wore really the whole time we were outside that night, and the day of when we went to sleep, when we got there. I just had that union suit on, a pair of wool socks, my muck boots, just a pair of jeans, and this, and then my ball cap. And I was perfectly warm. I was totally fine. Awesome, terrific job again. If you don't have one of these, which, you know, I'm pretty sure almost anyone has Columbia fleece, but if you don't, get one. Well worth it. Along with that, we got my sweatshirt, my Kurt's Island Sports Shop sweatshirt right here. Home of the live nude minnow, another sexy bait. That's right, sexy bait. And this is what I wore to bed. And I just put my wool hat on, flopped this hood over my head. I was pretty good until, obviously until I felt the moisture on my legs. Then it got a little cold. But cracked out some hand warmers, put those on my chest, slept on my back, and I was good. I was awesome. So again, this is awesome. Majority of my pack was stuff to just keep me warm. So when you see that massive pack, there's not that much in it. Most of the room is taken up by the sleeping bag. On top of the sleeping bag, there was my jacket, a pair of winter gloves, and a wool hat. And that was all that was in the main and then a grill. That was all that was in the main pocket. Obviously, it's all stuff to keep you warm, other than the grill, which is, you know, flat anyway. So as far as the clothing goes, did a good job on that. I was comfortable. Those winter gloves, yeah, that's right. These big, huge monsters. Look at these things. 100% wool liners in them. leather palms. Alright, come all the way up here, so you're not going to get snow down here. It's got 3 retention straps on here. One right here, and one right at the wrist. You know, awesome stuff. Didn't use them at all, but you know, it was good stuff. Before we decided to leave, we actually took Andrew's car out to make sure that we could get out if we decided to leave. And if we couldn't have, obviously we got the car out, but if we couldn't get the car out, I think these would have played a crucial role for both of us, at least until we got that fire going, which I don't know how long that would have taken. So these would have been a good thing if we got stuck. If we had to do it all over again, I'd still probably bring these just for the reassurance that if something doesn't work out, my hands aren't going to freeze. Had my Shimag here. Alright, and this was just going to be to wrap around my face if I got cold. Or wrap around my neck or whatever. And didn't use it at all. Had plenty of uses. Doesn't weigh anything, didn't really take up any space for the most part. I don't know. If I had to do it again, I probably wouldn't take it, but you know, never know. So that was that. Here's the wool hat. Alright, just my U.S. government issued watch cap. Alright, warm, awesome stuff. $8. Yeah, enough said. Wool, warm, cuts the wind. Incredible. Here's my jacket that I had. Alright, right here. Nice big jacket, free country. Nice big hood in case it started to rain. Flop that over. In the morning, when we were packing up camp, I had this sucker on. I was perfectly warm. Every part of me was warm except for my hands. And I could have used those gloves, but for the fine little tasks that I was doing, it just wasn't practical. So definitely glad I brought this. No doubt, this would definitely come with me again. All right, GPS. This wasn't really for us as much as it was just to figure out where we were on the road if we got lost, if we didn't know where we were. So that's mainly what this is for. This wasn't really for the actual camping trip. This was just for getting there. Same with the compass. Which, by the way, we didn't have to use either one of these because we knew right where we were all the time. So, thanks to the navigator. Alright, I had, believe it or not, socks are a pretty important thing, and you gotta think about them, and you gotta think about how many to bring. Because if you just bring one pair, your feet are gonna suffer. You are gonna suffer. Physically, mentally, maybe emotionally, I don't know, maybe start crying when you feel uncomfortable, I don't know. But these are the wool socks that I had during the day. Alright, so these are the ones I was walking around with. These are about half the weight that these ones are. And so these were real nice for walking around in the day. These paired with a pair of the original Muck Boot Original, that's what the name of the boot's called. Awesome combination, kept my feet warm the whole time, and they didn't get cold at all. but they didn't sweat an incredible amount either. When I bedded in, kicked the boots off, pulled these socks off, draped these socks over the boot to dry if there was any sweat, and I pulled out these guys. And these guys, like I said, are about twice as, the weight's about twice as greater on these than those ones. These are a lot warmer. These were my bed socks. This is what I wore to sleep, and these did a fantastic job at keeping my feet warm. Not once was I ready to complain about my feet. All I had with this was this. Normally, if I slept in these, I would stuff my fleece down there and wrap my feet up in the fleece. Didn't have to do that with these. These did an excellent job at keeping my feet warm. So, wool socks, do it, buy it, spend the money, get multiple pairs, and change those things when you go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, change them back to the ones you wore yesterday. The ones that you wore yesterday may be a little cold, but they'll be dry. They'll get warmed up within 5 minutes of you wearing them, and you can dry those night socks out for the next night, so your feet don't get cold. Speaking of the fleece and the pillow thing, this is one of the greatest ideas that not that I got, but that I've ever heard of, and I think I saw it on a YouTube video by Wilderness Outfitters, and the idea originally came from a gentleman named George Washington Sears, who was a journalist for Field and Stream magazine back in the 1800s, and he's a pretty important dude. He's a pretty well-known, pretty famous guy in the backpacking, camping, bushcraft community. And what he did is he carried just a pillowcase. Right? That's all it is. It's just an empty pillowcase, right? And I just folded that up and put that in with my sleeping bag. And then when I went to bed, just took my fleece and kind of folded it up-ish. Just like that. Grab this pillowcase and stuff that in there. Fold that flap under, and there you got a pillow. Alright? Now, me, I like thin pillows. I don't like a lot of fluff. And so this works just perfect for me. People who might like a little more fluff might have had to sacrifice that sweatshirt I was wearing and stuff that in along with the fleece. But, this method worked out just fine for me. This is one of the best ideas that I've ever heard of, and yeah, plus pillowcase has other uses too. Alright, we got our cook pot right here. Alright, this is a MSR Seagull. This is the only part of it I used, was the lid, and that was to put the burgers on. This is what I ate off of. So I put the burgers on here, cut them open, they were done. Yep, give one to Drew, and I would eat right off of this. I take my spork and just chow down right here. Perfect plate. Fry pan, not really. Just because it's kind of a funny shape. I don't know. I suppose you could pull it off, but yeah, I don't know. We might have to experiment with that. As a pot, I didn't use. In fact, the only thing I was using the pot for was as a container to carry my headlamp, which I did use. Not very much, but at night, when I got those hand warmers out, I just felt them. I couldn't see anything, so I put my headlamp on, turned the red light on, and I could see the packaging, so I could read. Okay, these are the air activated ones. Rip them out, shake them up a little bit, and I just felt them get warm. So that was good. Even though I only used it once, glad I had it. Otherwise, would have had some problems. Multi-tool. Yep, used this. Used the pliers part of it. It was the only part I used, but I still used it. I use it to get the on the grill. There's chains where you can lift it. So I had this forked stick, and I'd put a branch through one of the chains, and I'd use this and grab another chain, put that chain on there, and then I lifted it off. So not a huge use, but did get use. Plus they got pliers, knife, saw, file, screwdriver, other stuff like that. I had some Bear. Alright. Well, didn't use it. I'm glad we didn't use it. Pain reliever. Yeah. This is part of the first aid kit. If you're lucky, you don't use the first aid kit, but if you're smart, you always bring the first aid kit. So this is gonna come with me anyway. Then we had a can opener right here. Can't even see it, it's so freaking small. Can opener. Alright, didn't have any cans, never used it. But the thing is, it doesn't take up any room at all, doesn't take up any weight at all. You don't even feel it. So well, that definitely come with me again. Alright, there's the cook pot that we didn't use, other than the carry stuff we did use. My cast iron pan, my skillet, didn't use it. Was planning on making pancakes for us in the morning, but we didn't use it. But we would have used it if we stayed. So yeah, I'm not sorry that I brought this with me. Got a bunch of crap in it. Gotta clean this sucker out. Yeah, it's heavy, but whatever. I mean, it's awesome. It's cast iron. So anyway, definitely bring that again. Alright, the sleeping bag that we had. Now in the video I know it's green, and that's because this bag slides inside of this green bag. This is the military's MMS system, military's modular sleep system, MMS system. Alright, these bags, the black bag goes inside of the green bag. Just did a pretty good job of keeping me, actually just did a really good job of keeping me warm. The only issue was that when I woke up, the ground was wet from condensation, from us breathing, and from that air we were breathing out, not being able to go anywhere, and settling on the ground, on the floor of the tent. Alright, there was really nowhere for it to go. We had the rain fly on top of the rain fly we had a tarp. So we breathed out. With that comes moisture. You can feel it when you breathe on your hand. You can feel there's moisture in your breath. Two guys breathing in a small tent for close to 12 hours. Obviously you're going to find traces of moisture. That, plus with the rain that we had that night, and the snow that we had that night, there's bound to be some moisture issues. So I woke up, and when I lifted my sleeping bag up off the ground, it was wet. Alright, and my bag was wet. So that wouldn't have gone over well if we were still out there tonight. So I'm glad I brought this, but one thing that I should have brought along with that is this. Alright, and Andrew brought brought this part of his. We both have the same system. He brought this part, I didn't, so you gotta see a good comparison. This is the Gore-Tex Bivy. This is waterproof. If I had this, my bag wouldn't have gotten wet. We would have been able to stay out there for, tonight. Here's the packaging that our grill comes in, right here. Pretty awesome. Did an awesome job cooking those burgers. Yeah, heavy. You know it's in your bag, but it doesn't take up any space. Put it on the bottom. Now you got a hard bottom, or you can put it on the side. Glad I brought it. I'd probably bring it again. Here's my bottle. Here's the bottle right here. Alright, we got some electrical tape around it from an experiment that didn't go well. So we'll just take that off right now. Alright, right here, this is maybe that full. So we didn't use much water at all, which probably isn't a good thing. We should have been drinking. And we should have been drinking this water. But we didn't. Food bag. We got flour, we got pancake mix, we got sugar, we have a flask of vegetable oil, baking powder, some other stuff that I'm not quite sure of at the moment, brown sugar. Alright, that's all in here. Yeah, I'll probably bring this again, maybe. I don't know, depending on what food we had, other than just that. First aid kit, I know, tiny little first aid kit. We'll go over this in another video. We'll probably make a bigger first aid kit for longer trips, but for the night, 1-2 nights, this was just fine. We got our Gerber hatchet here, and you know what? This didn't see much use at all. We got our fixed blade knife, and surprisingly this didn't see much use either. Let me think. Yeah, I honestly can't think of anything else that I use it for other than flipping the burgers, which was quite a sight. Big 6-inch blade, flipping burger patties with it. It's pretty cool. I felt pretty awesome. Yeah, that was about all the use that got. Another buck folding knife right here. Probably wouldn't bring this only because I had that fixed blade, but it's real good for whittling. Awesome for skinning. Yeah, that's this. Ironically, the knife, well, the tool that got the most use was this little guy, particularly this blade. Alright, and I use this to cut rope. This morning, car was covered in snow, so I went over to a spruce tree and I, cut a branch off, and we used that to brush the snow off. That worked out pretty well. Use this to open the stuff up. So, yeah. Got a fire kit. Alright, this one's a little larger than the one that's on my channel right now. I will do a video of this larger one. This one rides in the pack, and that smaller one just happens to be right here. This one is on me. So, we'll do a video on this. How did we get the fire started? Well, we took some birch bark, and we took a match to it, and it lit right up, and yeah, that's all she wrote. We had a good fire going. So yeah, and then other than that, we have the harmonica. Didn't use it a whole lot. Played You Are My Sunshine when I was sitting by the fire. Entertainment's good. The pack, and then of course we got the tent that I don't have because that's drying out still. And the pack that we used right here, this is the Snug Pack Rocket Pack. We'll do a review on this. It's just got one big pocket here, two side pockets, and the lid pocket, and everything that I just showed you fit in this bag. I'd like to have had a sleeping pad. I would have made a big deal. Every time that I do this, I always say, "Oh, getting off the ground's not that big of a deal." It's a big deal. It is a big deal. If you don't want to suffer, you're gonna get up off the ground, and I just can't get that through my head for some reason. So every single time I go out, I'm laying there and I'm suffering, and I'm like, man, why is that dude warm and why is he comfortable when I'm not? And then I realize, oh, it's because me and my stubbornness don't have a sleeping pad. So it's definitely going on the list. So definitely bring the sleeping pad. One thing that I wanted to make room for that I didn't have room for was, believe it or not, a book. I would have really liked to have something to read when I was awake between 2:30 and 3:30. That would have been really nice. I'm looking in at maybe getting a Kindle Paperwhite. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask some people about that because I don't think that's a bad idea. $120 in books. You know, honestly, that's not very many books. The price of books is ridiculous now, and you're paying for the Kindle, but there's a lot of books out there for Kindle that are free. So probably won't be a bad idea. Plus, it's thin, next to nothing. Don't even notice it. That sucker will just slide right in a pocket. Won't even notice it. Won't take up any room at all. So that'd be another thing. So sleeping pad, bivy that we talked about, and Kindle or some kind of a book. The tarp we had, I would have brought that, but I don't necessarily think I would have brought the tent. I don't know. I gotta think about that. I'm thinking maybe if we had a nice lean-to with that tarp, I wonder if that would have been better. I don't know. It was pretty wood. Oh, got a map here, an incredibly crude map that looks like a. I was about to say kindergartner, but not a kindergartner. I'm gonna say a fourth grader. I'm gonna say it looks like a fourth grader drew it. Probably won't be able to read my handwriting. A lot of people think it looks like Arabic, but whatever. So here's our crude map. All right, so this road here came. There's a highway down here, right? And this just loops around, and you drive in, and you come up, and there's this parking spot right here. So obviously this is where we parked. Right? Car. We parked there right here. There's a sign. It's a big white sign, and in big black letters it says camping 3 days. Quiet time from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Alright? That's what it says. That's right off the sign, that's what it says. And so that's where that. So we're like, alright, if anyone wants to complain, if anyone wants to fight about us this time, if anyone wants to fight with us about it this time, we got that sign right there. There's a trail right here that goes in the woods. That's where we got firewood. Boat landing's right here. Nice, pretty mud lake is right over here. Alright? There's a bunch of birch trees over here. Firing was right here, so we had the fire right here. Here's where our tent was. We had a nice sitting log right here, a few trees, and some shrubs. This is my bear watching stump right here, and some more shrubs up here. So we set up the tent right there, which is a good idea because when that cop came in, he was right here. He could see everything. That was pretty awesome. But other than that, Andrew and I were sleeping there, and all night we were just like, oh, all right, we're surrounded by a road, which, you know, we were. I mean, there's a road everywhere. That kind of was driving us nuts. There was a bunch of weird stuff. There was like sweaters and underwear, and I think there was a prescription pill bag. A few of those were laying around. There was a dead skunk over here. So there was some weird stuff laying around, and we were kind of cautious about it. But I mean, it worked out just fine. Bear watching stump. Bears were just coming out of hibernation, so those that were out were hungry. I stood up there, and from there I could get a good vantage point of what was down below, and I could see pretty well if there was any movement, and thank God there wasn't. But all of these birch trees, and there were a lot of dead ones. Honestly, I think that if we really took the time, I think we might have been able to make one of those guys, and this would have been freaking awesome. We had the fire right in the middle, hallway going in. Man, that'd been awesome. But you know what? Maybe next time. I don't want to leave Wisconsin without saying that I made one of those. So I'm going to make one of these things, or at least attempt to make one sometime soon. Alright, but so that's it. That was our trip. Any questions, any comments, any concerns, let me know. Be more than willing to, you know, help you out. If you got any questions about gear, if you have any questions about anything else that happened, if you're curious on, you know, anything, just come up and ask me. Yeah, no problem. So, alright, we'll see you guys later. Bye.